4 phases of retirement. Yeah, I will explain to you each of the phases in terms of its opportunities and also the challenges and how you can plan ahead. So let's talk about this part whereby I divided 4 phases of retirement into based on the timeline. When it comes to your pre-retirement age, early retirement age, mid-retirement, and late retirement. And we use time, wealth, and health as your indicator. Now let's talk about the first phases, which is the pre-retirement at the age of 50 to 60s. Now, in this age, we understand that all of us are actually still working in this phase. And by working, you got your active income, you got your rental income, your health is still going strong, but your time might be limited because of your workload or your business situation or your family or family that you grow. So which means to say that your health or your wealth is actually still keep on increasing in this phase. And this is the opportunities that you can have. First thing first, you still have your accumulation stage around 10 years or roughly to build up your savings so that you have a proper or happier retirement. But there lies a few of challenges during this phase. As you can see, this is an inflation state last year in 2022, and it stated around 3.3% inflation rises during last year. And you can see that the rises it's our everyday lives or our everyday usage. For example, this food and beverages around 4.8%, restaurants and hotels, transport and such. So imagine that if inflation increased to 5%, what will happen to your money? And perhaps this is a good time, a good stage or a good phases if you want to look back or streamline your financial position, because the latest phase is actually what matters most. So this is the second phase, which is your early retirement. Okay, as I mentioned before, during your pre-retirement, you still have your time to accumulate your wealth, and you still have time to accumulate your health as well. But during the early retirement stage, this is where the big challenges coming, because I assume that we all receive our EPF savings at the age of 55, but we just assume that you receive at the age of 60. So this means to say you have a big chunk of liquid money that you can spend on. So this is a good time for you to spend your money, and also I would say this is a bit challenging or a bit tempting, because you receive a lot of money and you might have an euphoria of a stage of stages. Okay, perhaps you want to invest more, or you want to spend more, travel around the world. It's not a matter of what you want to do. It's actually, are you afford to do that without sacrificing your retirement stage? And of course, we are just not talking about you alone. What happened to your expenses, to your savings, to your family dynamics? And perhaps this stage is actually quite significant, that you can feel the temptation to use up most of your money during this part. Okay, so now let me share with you the challenges. Now this is actually on April this year, 2023, a retiree losses around $500,000, almost $500,000 to an investment scam. As I mentioned before, you receive a lot of money from your EPF. Either your EPF or your gratuities does not matter. Okay? So what matters most is what you do with your money, as I mentioned before. So this victim is actually invested in online shares investment in gold and US dollars, which promise quick returns. So this is the trap for retirees, and most of the scammers targeted these phases of people, because you have a lot of money during this stage, and people fear that if their retirement income doesn't sustain long enough, so that's why perhaps this retiree intend to invest to grow or to preserve his or her money in the longer run. Okay? So coming to the third phases of your during your mid-retirement. So I mentioned before, in this pre-retirement and also early retirement, that you can receive your money, and this is the part whereby you have a lot of time, but the wealth and health is decreasing. Okay, so this is a good time for you to look into your other part of your financial situation. Perhaps you can look into your distribution phase. You can look into your family situation, whether is there a need for them to sustain their life with your wealth. Okay? So there's a lot of goals that you can achieve too, but I want to highlight this important part, which is a medical inflation. So this is the study by who is this? It's actually a Takaful Industry Joint Task Force in Insurance and Takaful Industry. Sorry, yeah. So they mentioned that a high medical inflation of roughly 8 to 9% per year is contributed by this aging population, advances in medical and such. So you can imagine that during your third phase of retirement, so you will use a lot of money to cover your medical expenses. We are talking about not just 3 to 5% inflation anymore. We talk beyond that. So we want to make sure that our wealth or our health can sustain at least until 80 or 85 and beyond. So now, let us take a look on the fourth phase here. Okay, this is the late retirement. As I mentioned before, we want to make sure that our wealth during our retirement stage is actually going like this: pre-retirement, early retirement, mid-retirement, and late retirement. Okay, so you can see there's a downtrend. This is during accumulation. This is, I would say, around decumulation. Decumulation. Okay, so we want to make sure that our savings, our expenses are being controlled, so that this late retirement, we having a peaceful life during this stage. Okay, so but this I want to share with you these stories in this Code Blue website here. Okay, so she mentioned that her late grandfather, actually needed almost $1 million for a comfortable caregiving. So what I want to highlight during this fourth phase here is we are not able to take care of ourselves anymore, and we need some other people or our family to help us move around and such. So what if your wealth couldn't sustain to this stage? Will we burden them? Will we burden our family? Or we don't want to burden them? So this is the most critical part. Okay, so I want to highlight here, this is the actionable takeaways. I would suggest you to search or seek professionals like a licensed financial planner, for a professional guidance so that they can help you and assist you to set your retirement goals to suit your each of the phases. So and of course to streamline your financial position. So we have a lot of retirement goals, as perhaps we want to build our home in our own land, balik kampung. We want to splurge our money with to our cucu and whatnot. But when we talk about retirement, we need to make sure that all of it in a good position. And of course, it doesn't hurt for us to arrange or to prepare for our retirement life soon enough. So I hope that this brief information can help you to move, to give you a slightly an idea for you to move around. If you need help or if you need a second opinion, a guidance, you can just comment below, or you can just message me to reach me, and also we can discuss later on. Goodbye.